Hey Beavers, it's Tuesday and I'm Lori. I just woke up, but it's weird because as soon as I hit record, I like smile because I'm like happy to be talking to you. If I woke up and I'm like, uh, I put on the little play button and I'm like, oh yay, it's beaver time. I just talked to Mary Beth on the phone and she asked me, what's the topic this week, my little beaver? And I thought that was really cute. And I got my ears pierced. Yes, I'm 25 years old and I finally got my ears pierced. Wow. Wow. So, so this week we're talking about the gays in movies. Specifically, I think who we identify with in movies, how we think about lesbians, and whoever that we identify with in movies, lesbian for me. And so this week, I really like movies, and I like lesbian movies because who doesn't like to see themselves represented in movies? And whether it's close to it or far away, it's like it's still exposure and it's still like stories that involve gay people, and I think that that is great. So anyway, movies that I like and TV shows or whatever that lesbians are on. One I really identified, and I'm just thinking about this. I really identified with what's her nuts South South of Nowhere. So I watched it when I was older because when I'd watch it, I was like, that's like kind of my life. She was like a Midwest girl. And she just was like, fell in love with her best friend, and they were both like nervous about it, and then like a clusterfuck of a bad relationship. My first relationship reminded me of that because it was just like so confused and so like all over the place and immature and just like so intense though. So I think that that really captured it in South of Nowhere. But then when I was, so that's when I was like that reminds me of when I was first coming out. But when I was actually first coming out, I watched a lot of L Word. Ended up being like a 6-year obsession, but healthy though. Just watching every Sunday. I own, I think, most of the seasons except for the last one because it blew. But when you watched L Word, I don't know if this was true for you guys. Even if they don't look like you, like they still remind you of people that you know, and you can identify with their characters. No, I don't have friends that are professional athletes and like art curators, but like I feel like their personalities transcend like their occupations and even their appearance because even in straight movies, like straight people are misrepresented in movies too by being portrayed by generally attractive actors and actresses. So like it never bothered me that all of the L Word characters were so gorgeous because they're pretty. Like you like to look at people that are pretty on TV. I think there's like studies that have been done. So maybe they don't represent like the lesbian community. I know that they didn't have like very strong butch characters even when they brought in, blanking on the name right now, Max, there we go. Not a very strong character, I didn't think. But I mean, it was good that they represented trans people. Anyway, so L Word, you have the thing where you're like, I'm kind of like Bet and Tina, or like I'm kind of like Alice and Dana, and you knew people that reminded you of them, and you could compare your relationships to them. I loved that. That was a great thing for the lesbians, even if it ended up like making everyone really mad because Jenny was fucking obnoxious. But some people really like Jenny, and so it's like it works. Real L Word I haven't been able to watch, but I think it's cool that there's like a Real Housewife. I think they should do like a Real Housewives thing, but with lesbians. Because I mean, let's see like the rich and famous ones. I think that'd be cool. Maybe there aren't any. I don't know, because it would be like Ellen and Rosie, and who wants to see them like in a house together? Anyway, and then I really liked the movie Imagine Me and You, and it is just like the cutest little movie. And this movie I watch over and over, and it makes me happy because it's a really good romance story. I just love the interaction between the two characters. I really like the movie Saving Face. I do not identify as a traditional Asian family, but I really love that movie because it's like, the difficulties of coming out and just the acceptance within a family, regardless of your culture, I think can really dictate how difficult that is to do. Don't really identify with like, heroin shooting Gia. I'm not in the mafia, so Bound is out. I don't like lesbian movies that they end up not being lesbians, like Kissing Jessica Stein or Um, Chasing Amy, like, no, I don't want to see that. And I just saw Mary Beth and I, for our anniversary, we went to see The Kids Are All Right, which is Annette Bening and Julianne Moore, and they play lesbian moms. And I loved it. It was really cute. It was like, it shows some faults and flaws and weaknesses in the relationship, but I didn't think that it was like, oh, lesbian relationships are weak. It was like, this relationship that this movie is about is weak, and it showed how they grew and how they were really great partners together, and I just really loved that. In a family, like, I think that parents, regardless if they're male, female, male, female, female, whatever, you make it work. You trudge through the shit. And I also thought it was funny, now that we're talking about representation of, lesbians or myself or whoever in the media, um, porn, totally inauthentic. So it's funny because in that movie they watch gay porn, and they're all pissed about how the lesbians in porn are like, have long fingernails and are straight women with fake tits, and that's something that I share in their feelings with. So lesbian porn, not so good. I have heard that they have a lesbian porn site that is made by lesbians and for lesbians, but I have yet to hear anything more about that. So if you know anything about that, hook a sister up. I hope that everyone has a great week, and I will see you next Tuesday.